What if the most powerful medicine in your garden is the plant you keep pulling out as a weed? What if the herbs that traditional cultures relied on for thousands of years are the exact plants that grow without any care, spread without any help, and keep coming back year after year, whether you want them to or not? Today, I am showing you 8 medicinal herbs that grow like weeds, plants that require virtually nothing from you and provide clinical-grade medicinal compounds in return. These are the plants that make the lazy gardener's approach to herbal medicine not just possible, but actually optimal, because some of these plants produce their highest concentrations of active compounds exactly when they are growing wild and untended. Subscribe right now, because every week I post content exactly like this. Real clinical science, practical plants, no pharmaceutical agenda. One stinging nettle grows anywhere, spreads itself, rich in minerals and anti-inflammatory compounds. Stinging nettle is the definition of a plant that requires nothing from you and gives everything in return. Plant it once in any corner of your garden, and it will spread, self-seed, and return every year without any intervention. The sting disappears completely with blanching, drying, or juicing, leaving behind one of the most nutritionally dense plants accessible in temperate climates. Nettle leaf contains magnesium, iron, calcium, boron, and silica at concentrations that make it one of the most complete mineral sources in the plant kingdom. These are exactly the minerals that modern processed food diets are most deficient in, and exactly the minerals that maintain bone density, muscle function, joint cartilage integrity, and connective tissue health. Nettle root specifically contains compounds that modulate sex hormone-binding globulin, effectively increasing available testosterone without pharmaceutical intervention. Research confirmed in Planta Medica. A clinical study found nettle leaf extract reduced inflammatory markers in osteoarthritis patients comparably to standard anti-inflammatory therapy. The lazy gardener's approach: plant once, never plant again. Harvest the young shoots in spring before flowering for highest mineral concentration. Dry for year-round use. 2. Lemon balm, self-seeds. Every year, spreads constantly. GABA modulator for anxiety and sleep. Lemon balm does not need you. Plant it once in any soil, in sun or partial shade, and it will spread vigorously through self-seeding. By the second year, you will have more than you can use. By the third year, you will be giving plants to neighbors. This is the medicinal herb growth rate you want from a plant with this pharmacological profile. Lemon balm contains rosmarinic acid, which inhibits GABA transaminase, the enzyme that breaks down GABA in the nervous system, producing anxiolytic and sleep-facilitating effects through a mechanism chemically similar to certain pharmaceutical anxiolytics. A double-blind randomized trial found lemon balm extract improved anxiety and insomnia scores in 85% of participants. A clinical study found lemon balm combined with valerian produced sleep quality improvements comparable to the pharmaceutical drug triazolam without dependency risk. The fresh leaves can be harvested continuously from spring through the first frost. Dried leaves retain potency for up to 12 months. The lazy gardener approach: plant one pot near a sunny window or in any garden bed and harvest continuously while the plant spreads itself without any help. 3. Feverfew, self-seeds, prolifically, returns every year, Lancet-confirmed migraine prevention. Feverfew self-seeds at the end of every growing season, and new plants appear in spring in every corner of wherever it was planted. This is a plant that requires active management to stop it spreading rather than any effort to keep it going. The medicinal application is one of the best evidenced in herbal medicine. A landmark, double-blind, randomized controlled trial published in The Lancet found Feverfew significantly reduced the frequency and severity of migraine attacks. A Cochrane review confirmed the evidence across multiple independent trials. Parthenolide, the primary active compound, inhibits platelet aggregation and serotonin release from platelets, addressing the primary triggers of migraine pathophysiology. The traditional preparation used in the Lancet trial is the simplest possible: fresh leaves eaten daily. 1 or 2 fresh leaves in a small sandwich was the specific preparation confirmed in the research. The plant produces this continuously from spring through fall. The lazy gardener approach: scatter feverfew seeds in any bed once, let it establish, and harvest fresh leaves as needed for the rest of your life. The plant handles everything else. 4. Yarrow, spreads by root and seed, grows in any soil. 2,000 years of wound medicine. Yarrow spreads by both underground rhizome and prolific self-seeding. Plant one yarrow plant this spring, and by autumn you will have a colony. By the following year, you will have a patch. It grows in poor soil, dry soil, clay soil, and gravel. It grows in full sun and partial shade. It tolerates drought that kills most garden plants. What it requires from the gardener is essentially nothing except an initial planting. What it provides in return is everything that kept it named after Achilles for 2,000 years. Yarrow contains acetylene with hemostatic properties, azulene with anti-inflammatory activity, and antimicrobial terpenes, 3 separate therapeutic mechanisms that explain 2 millennia of battlefield use. Research in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology confirmed anti-inflammatory activity comparable to standard anti-inflammatory therapy. A fresh yarrow leaf applied to a wound stops bleeding faster than most first aid interventions. The lazy gardener approach: plant one yarrow rhizome or seedling in a sunny spot and let it spread. Harvest aerial parts at flowering for maximum azulene content. Dry for year-round tincture and tea preparation. Drop the number of the herb that surprised you most in the comments below. I am building a full dedicated video on whichever gets the most votes. Your comment decides what I make next. 5. Mint, all varieties. Spread so aggressively it is considered invasive and heals your digestive system. Mint is the plant that gardeners are warned about because it spreads so aggressively that it takes over beds. This aggressive spread is exactly what you want from a medicinal plant. It grows in sun, shade, wet soil, dry soil, and containers. It comes back every year from the root. It produces more leaf material than most gardeners can use, and the pharmacological activity is substantial. Menthol and peppermint activates TRPM8 receptors, producing the cooling and analgesic sensation that pharmaceutical topical analgesics attempt to replicate. Enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules are clinically proven for irritable bowel syndrome, outperforming several pharmaceutical antispasmodics in controlled trials. Research confirms peppermint oil reduces postoperative nausea more effectively than ondansetron in certain settings. The fresh herb consumed daily provides consistent low-dose intake of the active compounds. The lazy gardener approach: plant mint in a container to contain the spread, or plant directly in a bed and let it establish a colony. Harvest fresh leaves continuously throughout the growing season. The plant requires no care beyond an initial planting. 6. Calendula, self-seeds every year, clinical evidence for wound healing and skin inflammation. Calendula officinalis, is another plant that the lazy gardener plants once and never plants again. It self-seeds so reliably that established patches maintain themselves indefinitely. The flowers appear continuously from early summer through the first hard frost, providing months of harvestable medicinally active material. The clinical evidence is focused on topical applications. A randomized controlled trial found calendula cream significantly superior to trolamine, a pharmaceutical topical agent, for preventing acute dermatitis in breast cancer patients undergoing radiation therapy. Research confirms calendula extracts promote wound healing through multiple mechanisms, including promotion of granulation tissue, collagen synthesis, and anti-inflammatory activity in wound tissue. Triterpenoids in calendula flowers have documented anti-inflammatory and antifungal activity. The preparation most supported by evidence is simple: dried flowers infused in olive oil for 4 to 6 weeks, then applied directly. The lazy gardener approach: scatter calendula seeds in any sunny bed once. The plant does the rest, producing flowers continuously for months and seeding itself for next year. If you had no idea these herbs had this level of evidence behind them, hit like right now. It helps me reach the people who need this information. 7. Echinacea, perennial that returns every year. Cochrane review, confirmed immune support. Echinacea is a perennial wildflower native to North America that returns from the same root system year after year, requires virtually no care once established, and produces progressively more plant material as the root system expands over years. A single echinacea plant becomes a clump in 3 years, and a substantial colony in 5. The root is the most medicinally concentrated part, and it becomes more potent as the plant ages. The Cochrane database systematic review of 24 randomized controlled trials found echinacea preparations reduce the incidence of the common cold by up to 58% and its duration by 1 to 4 days. This is a clinically significant outcome confirmed by the highest evidentiary standard in modern medicine. The aerial parts, leaves, stems, and flower heads, are medicinally active for immediate harvest. The root is harvested from established 3-year-plus plants for tincture preparation. The lazy gardener approach: plant echinacea once in any sunny, well-drained spot. Harvest aerial parts from the 2nd year onward. Leave established plants to multiply and harvest roots from the outer edge of the expanding colony. 8. Comfrey. Impossible to kill, grows back from any root fragment, heals tissue like nothing else. Comfrey is what happens when a medicinal plant evolves to survive anything. Cut it to the ground, and it regrows from the root. Try to remove it, and any root fragment left in the soil becomes a new plant. It spreads by root division into an ever-expanding colony that provides harvestable leaf material from early spring through late autumn. The primary application is topical, and the evidence is strong. Allantoin and comfrey promotes cell proliferation, accelerating wound healing, bruise resolution, and bone fracture healing. A randomized controlled trial found comfrey root cream significantly superior to diclofenac gel, a pharmaceutical topical NSAID, for ankle sprain pain and swelling reduction over 2 weeks. Research confirms comfrey cream reduces back pain, osteoarthritis pain, and post-surgical inflammation comparably to pharmaceutical topical treatments. Important note, comfrey is for topical use only. The pyrrolizidine alkaloids in the root are hepatotoxic if consumed internally at significant doses. The lazy gardener approach: plant comfrey once in any corner where you do not mind it establishing permanently. Harvest large leaves for poultices and oil infusions. The plant never needs attention and never stops producing. The theme across every herb on today's list is the same. The plants that require the least from you are often the plants that have the most to give. They survived because they are resilient. They spread because they are vigorous. And the same compounds that make them so hard to eradicate are the compounds that make them medicinally effective. Pick 1 or 2 from today's list that match what your body needs most. Plant them once this spring, then do nothing. Let them spread. Let them establish. In 5 years, you will have a permanent medicinal herb garden that takes care of itself. Drop a comment telling me which herb you are planting first. Subscribe, because next week I am showing you the specific preparation methods, the tinctures, oils, and teas that extract these compounds most effectively from plants you grew yourself.